please put your hands together for our next guest. This man goes by the name of Tyler Johnston! There it is.
That didn't feel very cool.
I thought you were leading into something because you came out and you were like, you were doing the loosen up, and then you were like,
loose. I was gonna cut loose there, but I decided against it. The last thing you guys need is to see me blow out
blow a gasket. Yeah. Enjoy.
Well, thanks, guys. Where do we go from here? How's everyone doing today? All right. There's about half the people there, so good to hear. I decided not to go to the Vegas Golden Knights game last night. Well, DJ and I, we don't see each other very often. We see each other every four or 5 years, so we decided to socialize and hang out a little bit. But if I didn't get the invite to socialize, I would have just gone to the Vegas Golden Knights game by myself, sat in a corner, screamed my heart out. And no questions yet? So, you guys want to hear what I had for breakfast? I decided not to get a $20 egg sandwich. Instead, I got a $17 fruit smoothie. Saved $3, baby. Oh, goodness. Is anyone here singing a song at karaoke tonight? What are you guys singing? I was thinking about songs last night, actually. But DJ says we're supposed to leave it up to you guys to sing, and we're supposed to just kind of back up sing. But we'll see what happens tonight. You have a question?
Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
I love Letterkenny, and I was wondering, like, the dialogue is so heavy in that. Do you guys mess up a lot when you're doing that?
My co-stars, yes. Me, not so much. No, I mess up all the time. Those words are so complicated for me. It's like 7-syllable words that I've never used in my entire life. So I mess them up all the time. There's actually one scene in particular. We had a bit of a hiccup on the shoot schedule. We had to move some scenes from the end of the shoot to so I got a phone call in the morning, like 7 a.m. that we moved some scenes from the end of the shoot to this morning because of this incident. And I had like a 4-page scene of just crazy dialogue. So I actually incorporated in the scene when I was having issues remembering my lines. I would turn to my co-star, Rold, and he would then whisper the words into my ear, and then I would regurgitate the words, and then the scene would continue, and if I forgot the line, I'd make it part of the scene, where I'd go to Evan, and he would tell me the line, and then I regurgitate the lines through him. So, rehearsal's a major component of Letterkenny. If we don't show up prepared, we will, screw up the lines, and just everyone will be drowning because of your lack of preparation. So, I'd be lying if I didn't say I had all sorts of bloopers on the blooper reel. Thank you. Bit my lip, I taste blood. Hi.
Hi, Tyler. My name is Mariah. I met you yesterday.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hi. So another Letterkenny question. If Stuart had to choose between Katie or Bonnie McMurray, who would he choose?
Wow. Katie was his first love. So I think it would have to be Katie. I always joke maybe at the end of Letterkenny, Stuart and Katie get together and she finally cleans up his act. I don't think that's gonna happen, truthfully. I don't think Katie has any interest in Stuart, but if Stuart had to pick, he'd have to pick his first love, and that's Katie Cat. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, I'm Brooke. Nice to see you again. Hi. So I have a very silly question, but it's very important.
Okay.
I know Stuart wears overalls all the time. Do you wear overalls in real life?
All the time. Misfitting, 2 sizes too large overalls all the time. No, I don't think I've worn overalls since the Oshkosh Bagosh days. think that was my last set of overalls, was my Oshkosh bagoshes. I probably still fit in them, but I haven't put them on for a long time. But they're making a comeback. Overalls are quite popular these days. I don't want to say I started that trend, but I might have. Do you wear overalls?
Not yet, but I am a 90s kid, and since that's coming back in style, I plan on buying a pair.
There we go. You wouldn't be alone. I see a lot of people wearing them these days. But they fit a little bit better than the ones I have on the show, I think. Thank you. Hello.
Hey, Tyler. DJ and Sam had very strong opinions on the flavors of chips available in Canada that are not available here in the States. I was wondering what your favorite flavor of Canadian chips were.
Well, easy. Ketchup chips. Yeah, it would have to be a Lay's ketchup chip. Doritos also made a version of ketchup chips, which was quite tasty, I must admit. So ketchup, I would have to say. We had an interesting conversation in the back room there just recently. I love coming to America and seeing what kind of like candy you guys have and what sort of sugar cereals you guys have and like sodas and different beverages. And then the guys were laughing because they like coming to Canada and trying all of our treats and stuff like that. So if I was to pick one bag of chips, it would be a ketchup chip. How about you? What's your favorite bag of chip?
I like the all-dressed chips.
That's what's up.
The all-dressed chips.
Ruffles?
Yeah, because then I don't have to pick a flavor. They're all there.
Why make a decision when you can just have them all?
Decision.
Love it. I like all dressed too.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Erin. I saw you yesterday. You're delightful.
Thank you.
I have another Letterkenny question.
Let's go.
Had it always been the intention for you to be Stuart, one of the skids? Or had there been another role that you might have tried, like a hockey player or one of the other types of characters we see on the show?
Well, I appreciate the question. It's funny for a lot of people who know me. Growing up, I played hockey and lacrosse my entire life, so I've always been quite athletic, and I fit into that group more than the skids group. But when I was originally cast, actually, Jared, who's the writer and the creator and the star of the show, we did a mini-series together about 10 years, 12 years ago, and I played a younger version. I think I told this yesterday, but I played a younger version of him, a person named Don Cherry. He's a Canadian hockey legend. So Jared played Don Cherry from 20 to 65, and I played Don Cherry from 15 to 20. And Jared's only 3 years older than me. And I remember, here's a little side note before we get to the Stewart thing. My audition for Don Cherry, I was in Toronto, and I went in for the callback. And again, I was probably mid-20s, 24 or something, auditioning for a 15-year-old. And I left the room. I remember this moment in this scene where my girlfriend is having a bit of a moment, and I took my jacket off to give it to her. And it was a really nice moment in the audition, and then I left the room, and the director told me when I was cast later, he goes, "You left the room that day," and I thought, wow, that is the most confident 15-year-old I've ever met. I was 24 years old. So, Jared and I met on that show doing Don Cherry, and he says, I'm gonna write a a web series, and I'm hoping to make it to a TV show, and when I do, I want you to be a skid. And I didn't even know what a skid was, so when Jared wrote this, he originally envisioned me in this character, which I find so fascinating. Whenever I talk to people and introduce the show, they always just assume that I'm gonna be one of the hockey players, and then when they turn the program on and they see me in those first couple episodes, they are rudely awakened. I don't know if everyone's seen it, but my character is long, black hair, my nails are black, I've got necklaces on, my eyes are blacked out, I've got scars all over my body. I look like a mess. Thanks for the question.
Of course, thank you. Hi, Tyler.
Hi.
So my question is, both of your characters from Supernatural and Letterkenny are very different. Were there any experiences with one character that you brought to another?
I think a big thing with comedy is letting the circumstances kind of speak for themselves. Obviously, you push comedy and you can push moments, but what I find the best in comedy is when you believe the characters and you feel for the characters. So with Samandriel, obviously he went through a bit of a rough time there, and you could feel the pain in him when he spoke. And with Stuart, one of the things I wanted to try my best to do was make him as realistic as possible while still being a clown. So, like for example, Michael Scott is one of those characters on The Office where he's so funny, but he literally believes everything he's saying, and he cares about his employees so much, even if he is the biggest jerk in the room. So what I always try and find is the characters is that relatability, that people can relate to the underdog, and with Stuart, he's always trying to just be accepted. Thanks for the question.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm wearing overalls.
That's what's up.
My question is about Alfie's hot dog worker uniform. Is that...
Glad you finished that sentence. I'm sorry.
It's too late for that. Anyways, I forgot my train of thought. Oh, was it a director's choice, or, you know, you just had a bunch of things to choose from and you chose a hot dog worker?
Are you asking me if I chose
Yes.
to wear the hot dog outfit?
Yes.
Yeah, they gave me 3 options. And I'm like, I want the red and white striped one with the hot dog on my forehead. I designed it, I picked it. No, you know what's funny is they just take the measurements, and then I showed up on set that day and I had no idea what I was doing, I had no idea what I was in for, and I had these striped shirt and a wiener on my head and a wiener on my chest, and I was proud to be wearing them. I shared a story yesterday. I'll briefly share it as well. But like, while I was on set, I had this red and white striped outfit. I had the wiener dog outfit on, and I went outside after one of the takes to catch some fresh air. Downtown Vancouver, a group of cute girls walked by. They were smiling at me. I was smiling back. I was like, wow, this is kind of a great day. And then I turned around, I looked in the reflection of the window, and I realized that those young women were just laughing at me and not flirting with me. So, no, I did not pick out that outfit. Hey!
Hi. There was an episode in Letterkenny where they were talking about bands playing somewhere, and they mentioned Incubus, 311, and Hoobastank. So Incubus and 311 are 2 of my favorite bands. And then Incubus, they play A Crow Left of the Murder in a whole scene where they're like picking rocks in a field. So who on the cast or crew was choosing that, choosing the music?
Jared Kiso, who's our creator and our writer and our star, we call him the franchise, he picks all the music. So Jared picks every single song that you will see in the show, and he writes all those band comparisons. So we get that note a lot. People always want to know who's picking the music for Letterkenny because it's always unique and very effective in its usage. So Jared Kiso picks all the songs. And every now and then, every few days, he'll send me a song, I'll send him a song. It's actually a nice, he lives in Montreal, I live in Vancouver, so we don't get to see each other very much. So we get to bond over music selection and hockey fights.
Nice.
And goals. Hello.
Hi, I have another Letterkenny question for you. In your own words, can you describe to us what a skid is?
Basement dwelling, cyber gothic, cigarette selling sweetheart. I don't know how many words you said. I said a bunch there, but yeah, again, he's an underdog, he's just looking for love, and he makes a whole bunch of wrong decisions in the process. So for me, skids would be an easier way to breaking it down. Maybe the kids in the smoke pit growing up, you know, outdoors, the guys out and gals out there smoking in the smoking pit. Maybe they sold a little bit of drugs, maybe they did a little bit of drugs, maybe they skateboarded for a while. The kind of, you know, the guys who are kind of on the outside looking in, I think is a nicer way of putting it than what I said 35 seconds ago. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I am a hockey fan, and you're from Canada, and so I was wondering if you have a favorite hockey team or current hockey player or a hockey player who has retired.
Well, thank you for the question. I am, in fact, a hockey fan. My favorite team are the Vancouver Canucks, because I'm from Vancouver. Okay, we're having a really rough year this year, so it's nice to hear that some people are still cheering. My favorite player growing up was Paul Correa, who was a very speedy, talented forward. And currently, my favorite player would have to be maybe Alexander Ovechkin. I'm hoping he beats the Gretzky record. I don't know. Who's your favorite team?
My favorite team is the Stars.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Are you from Dallas?
No,
Okay.
I'm from California.
How do you end up being a Dallas Stars fan?
Anthony Emmy left the Sharks and went to go play for the Stars, and then I just stayed with the Stars.
Do you have a favorite current player?
Tyler Sagan.
Is it because he's a good hockey player?
It used to be.
Or is it because
Not
he's a
anymore.
sexy guy?
He's not doing great right now.
He had a bit of a rough year, but he's a heck of a hockey player too.
Yeah.
Thanks for your question.
Hi, we met earlier.
Yes, Ian.
Yeah, yes, thank you. I told you earlier that I've been on the trip for the past 3 weeks. Do you have a funny or embarrassing moment on a road trip? Because I have a few just for this past 3 weeks.
I have so many to maybe not share. The Letterkenny crew, we just did a tour last year across America. We did 33 shows in 30 cities, and we were on the bus for 2 months straight, so there's all sorts of travel stories. What's one that I want to share? Well, there's one night we had a bit of a party after a show. It was kind of interesting. Like, we go and we do these shows, and then we get to share in this energy with the crowd. There's so much laughter, and this adrenaline just hits you that you can't replicate and you can't shake. So you get off stage, you feel euphoric, you have a great time, and there's a couple beers backstage. We have a couple beers, and then we'd go out maybe to a bar or something. And then we got back onto this bus, and we do overnight drives in some cases. So we would get on the bus at 11 p.m. and it would drive till 7 or 8 a.m. and then we'd do a show the next night. So it was, quite tough traveling. And I remember one night we had a great show, and we all were throwing a party in our bus, and the music was blaring, and we were having some drinks, and it got a little messy, like literally messy. There was chips everywhere and all this, and I went to bed because I'm a well-behaved individual, and a couple of the buddies stayed up a little bit later, and I remember waking up in the morning and 2 of the guys are passed out on either couch, and there's chips all over the floor, there's beer bottles and beer cans all over the floor, and I just remember thinking, like, this is not sustainable. We cannot live our lives like this. So I woke the 2 boys up, and we cleaned up the bus before the rest of the gang got up, but we were all contributing factors to the mess. I don't want to put it on the boys, but there was a couple nights we got a little unruly there. There's one night in a Toronto hotel where you guys want to hear a bit of a worse story? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't tell this one.
Yes.
Oh, why'd I do this? Okay, there was one time in Toronto. Oh God, the toilet didn't flush properly. And the water continued to, flow over. And of course I'm hungover and having a panic attack because now I can't stop the water from flowing out of the toilet, and cut the water off, decided not to call the front desk because they're very familiar with us. And I didn't want them to come up to my room and see the state I was in. So I walked to a corner store, purchased a plunger, plunged the toilet myself, cleaned the water that was all over the place. Thankfully, it wasn't too messy, if you know what I mean. And then instead of leaving the plunger in the garbage, I put it in a garbage bag and I walked 3 blocks and threw it out on the public street so no one at the hotel would know what I had just done that morning.
We've all been there.
Yeah, there's one. Thanks.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi.
I'm going to give you 2 tickets on a time machine. And you get to go back to the first time you heard your favorite song and the first time you watched your favorite movie. When are you going back to, and which song and movie?
That's a really cool question. I would probably go back and watch my first favorite movie, which was the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I remember just being mesmerized by that movie and wanting to go to the factory and eat all the plants and the freaking mushrooms and the golden or chocolate river or whatever. One of my favorite songs growing up, it was by Nas, called One Mic. Pretty gangster, so probably don't need to go back and relive those moments. I grew up in the suburbs of Vancouver, so very gangster upbringing. Nas was my favorite rapper, but I'd probably have to go back and relive the first time I watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, because even today it's still magical. It's a cool question.
Hello. I was wondering if you've gotten any odd compliments this weekend.
2 people complimented my handwriting yesterday, and no one has ever complimented my handwriting. But anyone who's been at my table those last 2 days know that I actually take a very long time to write because I'm trying my best. So for 2 people yesterday who complimented my handwriting, thank you very much. You're the first 2 people in my entire 35 years who have done so. I would like you to tell my grade 2 teacher, Miss Mooney, that I can, in fact, write. That was a pretty weird compliment. What else? People said, someone yesterday said, thank you so much for being here. It's the closest I'll ever be to meeting Tom Cruise. You're welcome. But that's a nice compliment. She's like, I hope you don't take offense to that. I'm like, no, how could I take offense to that? Like, I've been referred to worse people than Tom Cruise. That's for sure. A lot worse. Thanks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If you had a call, who would be your dream director, your dream project, and your dream castmates?
Well, I watched a bunch of Quentin Tarantino movies last year, so that would be an interesting world to hop into. Who would I like to act with? The Project. I'm not sure about The Project. It'd be cool to maybe do like a period piece or something, like step back in time a little bit, and maybe I don't know, maybe like sword fight or something. Maybe I could like be like a sword fighter. Who would I want in there with me? Maybe like Denzel, and maybe Aubrey Plaza, maybe Ryan Gosling, maybe Viola Davis. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, and then DJ Qualls, Oscar Chow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again.
Hello again.
So, my question right now. Sounds like you and Jared Kiso have known each other for a while. You were both in early seasons of Supernatural. Did you know each other at that time? Do you remember he was even in the show?
I knew he was in the show. People tell us all the time, the Letterkenny fans, Letterkenny castmates who were also in Supernatural, like Nathan was also in an episode.
Yep.
I did know him at the time. We had worked together and we were friends, but I could never have predicted that I would be here with you guys. I just want to take this moment to thank you guys very much for having me. I have such a great time at these weekends, and the fact that I did the show when I was 18 years old, I'm 35, and I'm still here talking about this amazing show with you guys. It's not lost on me how cool this is. And I could never have imagined, me and Jared both doing episodes of Supernatural, that I would be sitting here talking to you guys, and then me and Jared would be on an American-wide Letterkenny Live tour. Like, no one could have ever predicted it, and it's not lost on me how special it is. Yeah.
Did they let you keep any of the memorabilia from Supernatural? I can't imagine anyone else wearing the hot dog suit.
I should have asked for it. I don't know what they did with it. I didn't get to keep it. No, I should have asked for it. The knife that Cass stabbed me with, I got to take that home. No, I didn't. They didn't give me anything. They just washed the blood off my face and told me to kick rocks. I think that wiener dog outfit I should have kept, though. I saw someone yesterday, I don't know if she's here, but she was wearing the hot dog outfit, and she looked very, very cool. Much cooler than I did. Hello. You're up.
Hello.
Hello. We took that fun picture yesterday, right? The fun picture?
What's that?
Did we take a fun picture yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great picture. It turned out really well.
It did.
Anyways, there are so many people on Letterkenny that's in Supernatural. I was just curious if there's ever any conversations about it, or, hey, were you this, or what about that?
Can we talk about Supernatural? Is that what you're asking?
Well, there's so many people on Letterkenny that were in Supernatural. I was just wondering if that fact has come up on the set at all with Letterkenny, and any discussions that would be.
Gotcha. Yeah, throughout Canada, Supernatural has a very, very, very good reputation. You know, it has provided jobs for so many Canadian actors throughout the years and crew members. The list goes on and on and on. And yeah, we have talked about it on set, actually. You know, for me, that was one of the first major roles I had when I did that Bugs episode. I was 18 years old. I had just graduated high school, and it kind of gave me, you know, confidence to pursue this as a career. I was like, I can make a little bit of money doing this, and maybe it will actually work. And for some of the other guys too, that was, you know, early experience. And that's the cool thing about Supernatural. They've offered newer actors some amazing experiences over the years, you know, to really develop themselves as an actor. Because, you know, as a new person in the industry, sometimes you go out for actor roles, right? You're playing Teenage Boy 1, Teenage Boy 2, Teenage Boy 3. Supernatural had so many meaty roles for Canadian and in particular Vancouver performers to have. It really gave us a stepping stone and confidence to continue to pursue this career. So we do talk about it, and we talk about it very fondly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. Elisa from Las Vegas. Hi, Tyler.
Hi.
So in Supernatural Season 8, the episode Tiger Mommy, where you guys are auctioning off the tablet and all of the cool things that you guys are offering, like Vatican City or the real Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa, yeah.
My question is in the script, was there anything else that was supposed to be mentioned, like things that were being batted around, like maybe the Amber Room? Or what would you give in order to get the tablet?
I don't remember there being anything that we left out on the day. I mean, how do I give anything that's like more valuable than the Vatican? I mean, other than like personal relationships, like I'm not going to give you my mom or my dad. Like other than that, I don't know what else I could offer you. I could give you like my 2016 Mazda 3.
Yeah.
That's about all I got to offer. So you could probably hold on to that tablet. But there was nothing that we left out that day. It was all scripted, and that was a really cool day too. Like that was a fun my first sort of interaction with going back and forth with Crowley and the gang too, and sort of establishing this this conflict that would of course continue throughout the next couple episodes until ultimately I die. Thank you.
Hi. With Tom and Michael here from Smallville this weekend, I wanted to ask if you had any memories or stories to tell from the episode you did.
Yeah, so I did one episode. I was the Shadow Killer, I think is what they called him. It was very, very fun. I was on set for like 3 or 4 days, and the producer told me, he's like, hey, like if things go well, like you might be one of, it's really weird looking back on it now. He's like, you know, we're putting together like a young group of villains for this season, for the show. If things go well, your character might come back. Like such an unfair thing to say to an actor going to set, because it's like, it's so out of my control. I'm gonna do the best I can. It's up to you guys as writers and producers to determine how the show goes. But I remember sitting there and being nervous, you know, because Smallville was a big show, and there was some big stars, and again, like with Vancouver's industry, it was a show that everyone wanted to be on. And I remember being nervous and trying on those really kind of like goofy grandpa sweaters and like wondering why I'm wearing this outfit if I'm gonna be an evil bad guy in the shadows. I looked like a bookworm. They had my hair like really, I looked like a young Justin Bieber without like the swag, I guess. I had a fun little stunt that they attached me to some wires. I don't know if it actually made the final cut, but I got to do a little bit of stunt work on that set. And yeah, they never ended up calling me back, but I had a great time. Yeah. And another cool thing that I could say I was a part of, like, you know, I only did one episode, but I was also a part of that Smallville, you know, universe. So it's cool.
Hi Tyler, I really appreciated you at game night last night. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you had a favorite game to play, or maybe something a little bit more suited to a supernatural convention group that you enjoy playing.
I can tell you one game I don't enjoy playing, and that's Ouija board. I don't know how many of you folks here enjoy the Ouija board, but I've done it twice now. My lady likes doing it. She likes all that spiritual stuff. She liked spooking herself, and we played in her old apartment, and I remember the Ouija board was spelling out just awful stuff. And I've decided I never want to play that game ever again. We still have it in our apartment for some reason, but I never want to play that game again. What's a fun game? I like card games. I like playing like crib. I like cribbage. I don't know if you guys ever play cribbage. I like that game. I like sequence. I like no supernatural-based games. What was that game we were playing yesterday? The supernatural game, where you lose your souls and you like take away points from each other. Does that have a name? Yeah, anyone?
Does that have a name?
Cool. I also like a dice game. My dad and I played this dice game growing up called Bones, but I don't play too many games these days. I like Trivial Pursuit too. Actually, me and a couple couples played Trivial Pursuit a few weeks ago, and that was a lot of fun. But Cards Against Humanity last night was wild. I don't know who was at that table, but that was way too wild for 7 p.m. I know personally, I was choosing the most PG cards that I could find, because the rest of y'all were picking some wild stuff. Which is the game, I get it, but it's interesting. It's an interesting game. Thank you.
Hi Tyler, Sally from London. Just wondering if you've got any future projects or things that are going to be released soon that you can tell us about?
Yeah, so I did a VR short film last year, at the end of last year in December. So it will be coming out sometime this year. I don't know if anyone here has a virtual reality set or access to it, but it was a brand new process for me. It was really quite neat. They set up one camera in the middle of a table, and there's maybe 4 or 5 actors around the table, and there's 10 lenses, all having different angles, and the scene will unfold here, and as a viewer you can put the VR headset on and you can choose which actor to watch throughout the scene. You can choose to look into the top corner of the room or at your shoes or wherever, so it will provide this new experience for viewers. You can watch the same movie maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times and have different perspectives throughout. So that'll be coming out sometime this year. It's called The Basement, and it's a VR short. And I was also mentioning yesterday that I purchased the option to the rights of a book in Vancouver called The Last Gang in Town. And I'm hoping to develop that into a series in the next couple of years here. It's set in 1970. It's youth gangs that are causing havoc in the city, and the Vancouver Police Department has to step in and sort of eradicate these kids from the local parks. And a bunch of mayhem ensues. So I'm hoping to kind of step on the other side of the industry and maybe start to produce a little bit more, just take a little bit more control of my career. As an actor, you have zero say in pretty much everything, except for the hot dog outfit. I got to choose that. And it's just kind of nice to have a little bit more control. That being said, I'm step 2 of probably 10,000 with the producing thing. I have the option to the rights. Now I just have to do everything else. So keep your eyes open for that. Thank you. No other questions? We've got one more coming in. Do they pre-check the questions?
Yeah. Hi.
That's smart.
This is Adriana from yesterday as well. Hi again. I wanted to ask about like Letterkenny because I haven't watched it yet, and I asked you the recommendation for the first one to start watching. You said season 1, so I will do that. But are you the only West Coast cast member on that, and how has that been culturally? So for like stateside folks, it's kind of like the U.S. versus the Northeast, where like out in Ontario, everyone does like hockey in frozen ice ponds, but like in Vancouver and West Coast Canada, you don't get that kind of cold.
Yeah.
So it is different.
No, it's a great question. And the answer is yes. It's definitely been a bit of a different experience for me being a West Coast person. Michelle, who plays Katie on the show, she's from Vancouver Island. And Dylan, who plays Riley, is from northern British Columbia. So there's 3 of us from British Columbia. And it is a whole different world. So Letterkenny's set in small town Ontario, and I'm from Vancouver, which is like the 2nd biggest city in Canada. So it's small town language, it's small town behavior, and I did not come from a small town. So we film in Sudbury, Ontario, and that gives us a little bit of an opportunity to kind of step into the small town of Ontario. You go out for dinner, you go to different spots, and you kind of get the energy and the vibe of what the show's about. But I didn't talk like that growing up. I didn't work on a farm growing up. So it was definitely not something that I personally relate to, but our creator, Jared, grew up in a town that had 5,000 people called Listowel, Ontario, so he literally lived that life. Yeah. And they make fun of me about being West Coaster. They're like, oh, what are you gonna do? You're gonna bike to the beach and do yoga? It's like, yeah. And then I'm gonna grab some sushi on the way home. Yeah, they make fun of me for being a West Coaster, but screw them.
Hi.
Hey.
If you could have any of your two characters meet, which two would they be, and how would the meeting go?
Wow. Okay. Well, we probably have to throw Stuart in the mix, because that would just be mayhem. So Stuart, and maybe Don Cherry, and I think Don Cherry would probably beat up Stuart. They'd probably meet up at the bar. Stuart would probably offer Don Cherry drugs. Don Cherry would be like, why are you offering me drugs? I don't do drugs. Stuart would then persist, and then Don Cherry would probably beat him up in a hockey-style fight.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then Stuart would dance battle him back and try and fight unsuccessfully.
Hi, Tyler. I just want to know, what was it like to work with Grumpy Cat?
You mean tartar sauce? That was her actual name. Her name was Tartar Sauce. It was cool, man. Grumpy Cat was the coolest cat in the world at that moment in time. And I got to do an MOW with Tartar Sauce herself. I got to hold her. Not many people got to hold her. I remember going to set that day, and I had like a little trailer, like as big as maybe this square is here. And my toilet was also like my bed. So it's like, you got the toilet, and then you put the bed down on top, and you sleep on your toilet. And then Tartar Sauce had a trailer about as big as this stage. And I remember going to introduce myself to the owner. Tartar Sauce had like this amazing elevated cat bed, and had like a ramp down onto the couch. And there was a TV that was constantly playing, and it was a beautiful temperature in there. And I just remember being like in awe of this cat and the fact that it was able to take over the world for those periods of the period of time. And I spoke to the owner. It was actually kind of a cool story. I can't remember her name, unfortunately, but she was a really lovely lady. I think she was from Arizona originally, and her brother posted a picture of Tartar Sauce, Grumpy Cat, and the internet took it and just ran with it. And this was a woman, I think she had 2 or 3 kids. She was a single mother. She was, working all the time to provide for her family. And then her brother posted a picture of her grumpy-looking cat, and her life changed forever. So I think they're still making money off of that grumpy little cat, and it was a really cool experience. It was the creator of SpongeBob SquarePants who directed that, actually. So that was pretty neat. I had a fun few days on that set. Yeah, that was cool. It was actually filmed in Coquitlam, which is a city I grew up in too, so a little extra hometown love. Grumpy Cat, man, it's a long time ago now. Grumpy Cat's worst Christmas ever. And Aubrey Plaza voiced Grumpy Cat. You might want to Google that, but I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure, how she's very funny and she's outgoing and she's quite cheeky. I remember her tweeting when the movie was released. She's like, this is the worst Christmas movie ever. It was like her way of promoting the movie was her very unique sense of humor. Hey.
Hello, Dre here. I was wondering if there was any particular scene when you were doing Letterkenny that absolutely made you cringe. The cringiest one inside, where you're doing this scene and just inside you're like, oh God, I did that.
Every single one of them. I sometimes go home from set after playing Stuart, and I sit down and I'm like, man, what am I doing? This is what I do for a living. What am I doing? But one time in particular, there was a scene where, it's gonna sound a little sexier than it was, but my character, a little bit of a spoiler for those who haven't seen it, these girls that he has a relationship with are getting kind of they're getting pushed out of a club in Toronto, so Stuart and his friends go to Toronto to kind of defend his female friends, and then he ends up having a threesome with them later episodes. And I remember how uncomfortable that was. It was me and these two ladies were under the sheet, and it's not a sexy sex scene, it's a comedy, right? So her feet are in my face, and my feet are in her face, one of the girls' faces, and she's saying like, I'll suck his toes. And I'm like, no, you won't suck my toes. Like, my toes have been in these boots that are 45 years old all day long. I don't wish that upon you. And so there's one scene, like both their feet are hitting me in the face, and my character loves another woman. So I'm having sex with these two women while I love another woman. So I just remember like deciding to cry during this threesome. So like I'm having sex with these two beautiful characters. Stuart's having sex with these two beautiful women. And all of a sudden I'm like, I start crying, and I'm like pulling the tears out of my eyes, and her feet is hitting me in the cheek. And I just remember thinking, this must be the most ridiculous thing that has ever been shown. And the scene itself was very, very funny. And both of those girls are my friends. And it was such a fine, comfortable moment, but still so freaking weird. So weird. And these girls are in nice lingerie, and they look great. And I have this black wig on, and this toque on, and this like choker on, and my nails are painted. I got bracelets on. It's like I felt like Chris Angel or something. It was like I made the two women disappear. Yeah, that was awkward. That was really, really weird.
Hi, I was wondering, how did Stuart become a thing?
Stuart. That was Evan, my co-star. He just, he wanted to find interesting ways to call my name. So Stuart and Roald have a relationship where one is very much the dominant of the two. He's very submissive to Stuart and all of his requests and needs. So throughout the years, Evan would find interesting ways to say my name. So if you look online now on YouTube, there's like a 4-minute montage of him just going, Stuart, 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 Stuart. And it just goes on and on and on. So Evan tried to do this a couple times in early scenes, and Jared was like, that's really good, that's really funny, like keep doing that. So all of a sudden we'd finish a scene, and then Jared would be like, okay, that's good, let's do it again. And Evan, just try and find a time to like, say Stuart. But like, take out a couple of the letters, and then like, just add a bunch of R's. And that's kind of how it came to be, is Evan just did it one time, he was just having fun with it, and they kept asking him to throw it in, which is really cool about the show Letterkenny is, you know, if we have a moment where we find fun and we like to improv a little bit and they enjoy it, we can add it and continue to kind of grow off of it. There's lots of stuff that's happened episode after episode that was just sort of like an afterthought that has continued throughout the years, and that's one of those things. And Evan, like you walk down the street in Toronto, he says he walks down the street and people will be like, you know, Stuart, like say Stuart. He's like, I will not say Stuart. He's on Twitch now, so you could pay him, I don't know, you could pay him a little bit and he'll say Stuart all day long, so.
Doing my job as a filler.
Yeah, yeah.
So, it was super weird seeing you in the sex scenes after seeing you at these. I'm like,
not sure how to take that, but.
So there is a scene in the season when you're bulking up, where Evan Roldy is on the ground. You kind of get a little nudge there. It almost looked like it actually made contact. And
with my penis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just saying,
You left that part out, actually.
You were expecting it.
Mm-hmm. No, that wasn't planned, if that was your question. So my character in one of the seasons, the season before I saved these ladies and we have that amazing sexual experience I told you about, I bulk up. I put on a bunch of weight. I actually did half a year. I put on some weight, and my character has a large penis. And it's like a joke that recurs over and over again. So like in the earlier seasons, I didn't have any redeeming qualities. And then all of a sudden the writers just said that my character had a big penis, so like all the women in the city all of a sudden are paying him attention and stuff. So that's kind of where that came from. And I got bulked up in this one season, and then Evan rips my clothes off, and I'm wearing these tight pants, and I have like a prosthetic penis in my pants. And it's so weird telling this story. And so I'm standing here and I'm like, you know, I'm trying to show off my new body. It's like my introduction at the new season, and I'm flexing. I'm trying to be all like cool, tough guy stuff. And I got my black wig on, my nail polish on, so as cool as that could be. And I'm standing like this, and my prosthetic penis is going down my leg. And Evan, who's my sub, he like kind of clings onto my leg, and then all of a sudden he adjusts my prosthetic penis to like make it look better, I guess. And he did that in one take, and we all burst out laughing, needless to say. And then Jared, Jacob, our director, is like, okay, like we're gonna have to do that again though, because like that is too funny to not put into the movie. So again, that was Evan and I just kind of having fun on the day, and it stuck. Yeah, that's a weird one. That's a weird
You're
one. Thanks
welcome.
for asking about that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember too. They had like a larger prosthetic. Looked like one of those like pool noodles, you know. So it's like twice as long as my leg, and they're like, we can't do that. Like that's just absurd. So they picked something that was just slightly less absurd. And
You could have played
Evan
it
and I
off.
have many, many years ago established that anything is safe. You know, it's very important as an actor with a co-star, as we've learned over the years, especially with the intimacy and sex scenes and stuff like that. You want to be as comfortable as possible. And Evan and I established a long time ago, anything goes, you're safe, green light, just don't hurt me, I'm not going to hurt you either. So there's scenes where he's literally climbing onto my lap, his tongue's in my ear. He's like, he wants Stuart to love him so badly, and Stuart just never gives him the time of day, which is a really fun dynamic to play. I think you could say abusive probably, but it's for comedy, so makes it better. I don't know.
I think
No other
so.
questions?
Someone.
All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
So,
It's about your
I
prosthetic
just
penis.
want you guys to know, I was talking to a buddy of mine back home last week, and he said, man, have you ever seen this show, Letterkenny? It's the funniest show I've ever seen in my life, and it's my favorite show in the world. I was like, oh, Tyler's a buddy of mine. And he goes, oh man, he is hilarious. They did a whole season, it was just him, blah, blah, blah. So obviously I had to, being a good buddy, take a little selfie. Sent it to my buddy, Matthew, back home. And then Matthew texted me and he said, hey, tell him, Stuart. I've seen the show, I haven't seen all of the show, so I didn't exactly know what I was saying, but I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I had to explain to him that you laughed so hard at his joke through me because you said hearing me say it was the equivalent of hearing your dad go, I believe 50 Cents is playing in the auditorium later.
Have you heard the new Little Wayne song? He goes, my friend says Stuart. I was like, I think you probably mean Stuart. He goes, I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm thinking my time is up. So thank you very much for having me again. Again, it's a freaking treat. Thank you, guys.
Please give it up for Tyler Johnston. What's next, you may be asking yourself. And I have an answer for all of you. It's probably the whole reason you bought a ticket to this convention, I'll just be honest with you. It's a little game we like to call Yes, No.
No! Yes, no! Yes, no! Yes, no! Much of a thriller. It's a real-time killer. Oh, such a fun killer. That's no game. Jason Mans! Jason Mans! Jason Mans! Jason Mans! Jason Mans!
Usually, I'm not on stage for the part where you sing my name. That's when I come out. That was awkward, but thank you very much.
Hey, by